Hi, I'm Tiffany Guarnaccia, the CEO and founder of Kite PR. I'm also the co-chair of the Communications Week Advisory Board.
Hi, Tiffany. I'm Diane Schwartz. I'm CEO at Ragan Communications, and we are now the proud owners of Communications Week, which we acquired from Tiffany and Kite PR.
Yes, thanks so much, Diane. So happy to have you today. Well, today in our 5 in 5 session, we're talking about events, specifically the future of events. So we're so excited to talk about these questions today because there's a lot that's been happening in the space. And my first question for you, Diane, is the event space poised for a rebirth?
Well, we know that we can learn online. I mean, that's been proven that we can have Zoom calls and go to virtual conferences, but there's no doubt that people need to interact in person. And so events are definitely poised for a rebirth starting, pretty much now through the fall.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. There's a human need to connect, and there's a lot of opportunities that have emerged as we started to pivot and look at events in different ways and really rethink those connections. That was actually the theme of last year's conference as we started to think about how the space has changed, and we're in a new era where there's still that need to connect. The impulse to gather is strong, and that brings me to the next question about what event formats will prevail in this hopefully post-pandemic environment.
I believe a hybrid event. I think most people are with me on that offering both the option of attending virtually and attending in person. And we're going to see that model at least for the next 12 months that most conference organizers are going to offer to their audiences. And also elevating the experience for those who are attending an event virtually. They should not feel as sidelined,
To me, it really is all about flexibility. So that's something that we hear from anyone who is thinking about attending an event, or even an employee of a company. What they expect from that experience is multiple options based on what they feel comfortable with and what works for them. They want to engage, they want to connect, they want to be informed, but they certainly are looking at multiple ways for them to do that.
Yeah, and during Communications Week, which is November 15th through 19th, so that's many months from now, but we're offering hybrid throughout the week. So we will be in person in New York on November 16th with some networking and programming, but we're having conference programming online throughout the week and video programming and different interactive opportunities throughout the week. So it's a good time to kind of experiment with some new models. We're very excited about that.
I'm looking forward to it. But when you think about some of the opportunities for Communications Week, and when I talk to fellow PR professionals and fellow communicators, they're thinking about their planning for the next half of the year and how they're going to get involved in events and how they should be spending the rest of their existing budgets. So from that perspective, do you think we'll see different types of sponsorships emerge?
Well, all our feeling about sponsorships and the way to make them most successful, at least through the Ragan network of products and sites and so forth, is a combination of thought leadership, lead generation, and networking. And that was the case 5 years ago, right? That was the case 2 years ago. It's going to be the case, for the next 5 years. So I would say anyone that is interested in getting involved in events and putting their brand out there is identifying those subject matter experts within your organization and making sure that what they're going to be talking about is very tight in terms of tailored to the audience. And then, the quality leads, it's amazing how many more attendees, not amazing. I mean, it probably makes sense that through virtual conferences, you can be global in your reach, and that offers sponsors an opportunity to get into new markets in a much more efficient way. So, and then the in-person networking, there's nothing like meeting someone in person and having a conversation. I should add, because we're a media company, we have a platform, hundreds of thousands of visitors to our sites, and it's not, I call it surround sound, but any sponsor should be writing columns and involved in the editorial side leading up to these events. So by the time the event is happening, the audience knows who that person is or knows what that brand does. So they're not introducing themselves for the first time at an event.
Yes, that's a great point. Kind of think about the strategy to introduce yourself to those potential prospects ahead of the conference, and then think about how do you follow through with that engagement. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's put on a different hat. If you're organizing a conference, whether it's a large scale conference like Communications Week, or if you're someone who's producing an event for a client, you're heading up some of the event activations, what should you be thinking about now? What should be top of mind for anyone who's organizing an event in 2021?
Well, in 2021, it really is all about safety of our audience and what their appetite is or what their tolerance level is for business travel.
It's safety, flexibility, and agility. In that, being able to think quickly, pivot when you need to, based on the many factors that we have that are external that could influence event plans. I think we all got really, really good at that factor of agility. That's one of our values as we went through 2020 and into 2021. And there's a lot of opportunity because of that. So last question, last of our 5 and 5, when will we see increased demand for in-person events? When's that going to happen?
A lot of the big trade shows have announced in person or at least hybrid. Like CES will be in person. That's in January of next year. But a lot of events are already happening in the fall. Registrations are open. So now is the time to make those decisions on where, what events you want to go to and who you feel like hanging out with in person.
Yes, well, you heard it here first, folks. It's happening now. There's demand. We're hearing it from our clients. We're hearing it from various people within the industry that there is that need to connect. But remember, keep in mind safety, flexibility, agility as we're thinking about these things as we move forward. Well, that's it for today. Diane, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks. And if anyone wants to follow us, you can always check out the Kite Hill channels at Kite Hill PR, or say hello@kitehillpr.com. We'd be happy to hear from you and share more tips on events. Thank you.